Hi everyone, I'm Sanjana. I'm the Fireside Chat Coordinator for J&J, and I'm here with John for another Fireside Chat. John, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's jump in. Tell us about your educational and professional backgrounds and the path that you took to get to where you are today.
All right, so right now I'm a career land surveyor. I've been land surveying for approximately, I don't know, since 1999. Makes me that old. But I wasn't always a land surveyor. It wasn't a career that I chose. I just kind of fell into it, and actually I love it. It's one of those things that's taken me a different path to get to. As a kid, I wanted to be an architect. Went to applied to a bunch of architecture schools, and I got into all of them, and wound up going to NJIT as an architecture major, and didn't really like what I saw my first couple of weeks there as an architect, even though it was my lifelong dream to be an architect. And this was 1995. I was a freshman, and I went into the civil engineering program instead. And junior year, things happened to me personally, and I started having to go part-time, and raising a family as a junior. I actually started going part-time, like one or two classes a semester. Eventually, by 2012, I finally got my civil engineering degree, right? But that whole time I was going to school, I was actually working for a civil engineering company where I worked out in the field first, doing grunt work, when it's hot, when it's cold, when it's raining. It taught me a lot about, hard work and what it takes to actually produce quality work, right? And worked my way inside, and eventually started doing civil engineering work while I was actually going to school for civil engineering. And I started doing both, both land surveying and civil engineering. And I was designing, warehouses, subdivisions, residential complexes, McDonald's. We were working on banks, on bridges, buildings, like tall infrastructure. And it got to a point where I started moving into more of a land surveying career than civil engineering. As much as I loved civil engineering, I really like land surveying more because with civil engineering, you're going to do a lot of design work, right? It's a lot of math. It's a lot of heavy design work where you're going to be designing a lot of things multiple times. And I'm one of those guys that like to measure twice, cut once, and move on to the next job. And that's my preference. A lot of guys, like colleagues of mine, don't mind redesigning things based on what the client needs, based on requirement changes, design changes that happen because of certain construction events take place and dictates needs for redesign. So to me, I like to do the work with land surveying, do what needs to be done. And I would get to work on multiple jobs at a given time. Sometimes civil engineers work on the same job for 6 weeks, 20 weeks at a time. And I have exposure to so much more as a land surveyor, which to me, it gives me the opportunity to get exposed to so many different types of clients, different types of work, whether it's public or private. It's just, gets me involved in so many high profile jobs where I'm not exactly sure if that's the path that would have taken me as a civil engineer. So as a land surveyor, I've been grateful to have been given that type of opportunity.
Wow, that's incredible. And just from your story, I can tell that you really worked hard and persevered and you really got your goals in the end. So I think that's just very inspiring. And I'm sure everyone listening in can feel inspired by that story.
Yeah, and what it is too, it's one of those things where you have to grab every opportunity it's given. When I was early in my career, going to school at night, working 40 hours a week during the week, and then raising a young family at 21 years old, it was, you're still a kid, but at the same time, it actually got me to grow up. And working for a smaller company, and I'm talking maybe 20 people in the company, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to work on different types of projects that, as opposed to if you were working on with a larger company where you're working on a team that only works for a specific client. Like, I was able to work on different types of jobs, sewer jobs, building construction jobs. I was able to help with the redesign on subdivisions, and it helped me become well-rounded, right? And as I moved on from that company to another company, I was able to get exposed to even more type of complex work where I would just keep my ears open, and I would hear project managers say like, oh, we got this job coming up. I don't know how we're going to do it. We're going to need some people. And I would volunteer to help them out, even though I was already committed to other projects. So I would work 40, 50, 60 hours a week to gain that experience. Because to me, experience is everything. You could be taught theory at school, right? But practical, applicable, hands-on experience will trump any type of school, whatever they're going to teach you at school. It's going to help because you're going to understand the basics behind everything that you're building. But with practical experience and you building on that year by year, it propelled me in my career against others that were in the same position that I was, because I was working 20% more than they were each year. So if I'm working 20% more a week, so if they're working only 40 hours a week and I'm working 50, I'm getting 20% more experience than them. And over time, you're going to double your experience if they're maintaining that same type of work schedule. So to me, experience is everything. And it's made me who I am today.
Absolutely. And I think that's where, internships and co-ops and things like that are just very, very important. And I see a lot of young people really trying to go for those types of things. And that's definitely like the right path to be on for sure. And I encourage any, middle schoolers and high schoolers thinking about like what they want to do. And if they're confused, I definitely encourage internships and co-ops to really like get your hands in the field, get a leg in the game, and really see how it is. So that was a great point to bring up.
And internships also will give you guys just even for the feel of like working in an office and how an office operates, because every office works different, but you never know if you're going to like it unless you're, if you're going to work for an accountant. How does an accountant's office work? How busy are they really? Like they're crazy busy right now at tax time, and maybe that's not for you. These guys are working till midnight between September to the following April when taxes are due. So it gives you that insight in that type of career, if that's going to be for you. So it's easier to get in the game early and find out that's not what you're going to like to do, or getting an internship and then finding like this is what you really want to do, and going after multiple internships each year and working for different companies. I do a lot of interviewing, especially recruitment of sophomores, juniors in college, and I find the ones that had multiple internships going into their junior year are more, likely to gain a second interview because they have that experience. They can talk the language that I'm talking to because they already worked for a similar company like mine, right? Where it's easier for me, especially in this world right now where it's fast paced, deadlines are short. And if don't have to teach them the basics of what I need them to do, and they already understand the basics, I can move them up further in their knowledge base by getting them into more experienced tasks where I don't have to spend so much time with them, and I can teach them newer things, right? And move them further along in the internship, which actually helps them out and makes that internship even more valuable to them. Because now, instead of teaching them the basics and the language and how things are done, I can actually show them other tasks, other complicated tasks, challenging tasks that they can take on with them if they stay with us or move on to another career.
Absolutely. And I think overall it just shows a lot of initiative too when you're really
Oh yeah.
involved, and yeah, it shows that you're really interested. All right. So my next question is, did you have any significant extracurricular experiences in high school or college that you feel really helped you later on in your career?
Like outside, are you referring to outside of any type of internships where, because
Even internships.
well, like I didn't really work any internships. Like I said, I started working when I was 21. And it just kind of, when I got the job as a land surveyor for this small company in Monmouth County, they had me do everything. And at like every opportunity I was given, I actually took advantage of it. So like, for example, I was working out in the field as a land surveyor, and I hurt myself, and I couldn't work in the field because I had stitches on my arm. You know, it wasn't a bad accident but I couldn't work in the field because of these cuts that I got. And so what they asked was like, would you be interested in learning AutoCAD? And I said, sure. And what I did was, the first 2 weeks while I was recovering, they actually came to my house and installed the AutoCAD software on my computer at home. And they said, well, listen, keep yourself busy while you're recovering. Here are a couple projects that we've done already, and mimic it. So I taught myself CAD, and this is before the internet. This is before, you could Google everything on YouTube or on Khan Academy, Chegg, any of that stuff. So I basically taught myself AutoCAD at home while I was there. Took projects that they already did and redid it and made it look like how they did it. And I would bring back these drawings to them. And they said, you know what? Why don't you keep practicing? So what I did was I went back to the field. I started working out in the field again as a land surveyor. And at the end of the day, 5 o'clock after working a 10-hour day, I would do 2 to 3 hours worth of CAD work. The days I wasn't going to school, and I would just practice my AutoCAD at the office. And they would show me what I was doing wrong, and gave me techniques. And then when there was an opportunity for me to come into the office, they offered me the job right away. So that brought me in, actually made me a better land surveyor, because now I know what they need, what the civil engineers that were designing off the surveys I was performing in the field, what they were looking for. It helped me understand how surveys work and how designs came about. And at the end of the day, it just opened my world as to how certain things are done, why I'm asked to do certain things as a surveyor because of the needs of the civil engineer, and vice versa. So I've always encouraged younger guys or lesser experienced guys coming into college in the civil engineering field to work out in the field, because you're starting to actually realize how things are done, how things are built, how things are constructed, reasons why designs are being done a certain way. So when you do come in time, when it's time for you actually to come into the office and become an engineer, you're going to understand those basics, and you're going to have a much easier time designing once you have those types of understandings.
Absolutely. And that just goes to show the importance of real world experience and actually getting your hands dirty. So that's
Absolutely.
incredible. All right. My last question for you is, what advice would you give to young people who will be embarking on their professional lives soon?
Take every opportunity like it's your last. Like I said, experience is everything. Work hard, Um, don't work hard for the sake of working hard. Work hard so for yourself. Take every opportunity you can possibly get. If it's nothing's going to come easy, nothing worth having is going to be easy. So just keep trucking. If you don't get the recognition, just keep working hard. Like hard work will pay off. Experience will always trump talent. That's what I always say. And at the end of the day, I was fortunate enough to find a company that actually rewarded hard work and recognized the hard work and helped me move up in the company much quicker than I ever thought I could be. So it's a true testament of sometimes like working for the company that actually cares about you, and will do whatever it takes to help you with your career. So finding companies like that is going to be a challenge, but they are there. But it doesn't mean that working for any company is going to be a dead end. You could always use those experiences as stepping stones to move up to other companies, where you're definitely going to find your place, and every path is going to be different. And the only thing I can say is eventually you will get there, right? You will get there. And I don't know anybody that doesn't work hard, that hasn't gotten to where they needed to be, without that hard work. So
That was really great advice. And I'm definitely going to think about this session and the values and things that you mentioned. And I'm sure anyone listening will also do the same. So thank you for an amazing fireside chat.
thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me.